Alright guys, let's get into dimensioning on Revit. So you're going to go to the Annotate tab, and I would tell you about 90% of the time you're going to be using an aligned dimension, which means that no matter where your walls are, the dimension lines are going to measure perpendicular or orthographic to any kind of angle. So that's where you're going to be. Hopefully you guys watched the other YouTube video from Balkan Architect. I thought he did an excellent job of describing all the nuances of the dimensional tool. So I'm not going to go into what he spoke about. I thought it was quite brilliant, and I'm just going to speak about architecturally what I want to see and how I want you guys to dimension. So we're going to pick wall face a core, and you could click on the line. And I like you guys to have 3 layers of dimension. The very first layer, let me take it back. The very first layer will be the overall width of the entire house. So you're going to do a dimension from here to, let's say, here. And that's going to be there. And we're going to talk about style-wise whether we want these lines that long. The second line of dimension will be all the rooms. So it'll be from here, measure this room, measure that room, measure that room, measure that space, this space to this space, and then you just want to snap it right there. So I know you can adjust the spacing, but I'm going to leave that alone. So basically, when you add up all these dimensions, it should add up to 76 feet, 10 inches. Your third layer of dimension will be all the openings and windows and doors. So again, you're going to go to your Align tool. And in this case, there's no opening along this wall. So here, you're going to go from here. I'm going to prefer to do center lines, and then take it all the way back to the edge, and that's your third line of dimension. So all of these will add up to 34 feet 1 inch. And then here I see another one here. So this is an example where you could start another dimension line, meaning you can, I'm hitting DD by the way because that's the shortcut I set up for myself. But if you guys haven't set up the shortcut, you're going to go to Annotate, and you're going to hit, you could hit DI, which is the native Revit shortcut. So you can go from here to here to here and give it that third line. This is good, but let's say you wanted to readjust these dimension lines. Because this set of line was created independently of this set of lines, you would have to move things twice, right? And, lazy is good. What I would have preferred you guys to do is to select this line, and you want to add witness lines. And by the way, witness line means these vertical lines. What is touching, basically, is what we call a witness line. So you want to click on your dimension string. So this is, the whole thing is called the dimension string. You want to hit Edit Witness Line, and you want to simply add additional witness line, and then you just click away in an empty spot. Now this will read as one piece, so it allows you to move dimension lines a lot easier. So please remember that. I'd like for you guys to dimension in 3 layers. The first layer would be the overall. The second layer would be each of the room or spaces, the walls. And then the third layer would be the openings and doors and window openings. And then another thing too is I would like your first line of dimension to leave roughly about this much space, because what you're going to do is you're going to annotate. Let's say you want to call this out as a specialty wall. Remember the Annotate texting tool? So that allows you to annotate. Oh, I have the orange one still. Wall X, whatever I want to say, right? This is much more preferred rather than I've seen a lot of drawings where they make the dimension lines really tight to the drawings because either they don't have room on the sheet, and then they end up doing that, right? And crossing your dimension line is generally a no-no. I'm going to give you an extreme example, for instance. So let me change this back to, where's my, I lost my, this project. Oh, wait a minute. Give me a second, guys. Alright guys, I'm back after a slight panic attack. Usually, I'm so used to having everything set up. When something goes haywire, I'm like, okay, where is it? So I'm back. I lost my properties browser. I don't know what happened. So you just simply click it. That's what I was looking for. But anyway, I want to show you guys that. Just all the little goofs that are happening during these, I guess, quote-unquote, live recorded demos. So I'm going to pick my annotation, and instead of the orange, I'm going to do my default black. But I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. Let's say I'm doing that, and let's say I bring it here. And I do something like that, crazy. Well, it looks like if I'm dimensioning from here to here, 18 feet 4 inches, right? I mean, obviously, if they're looking for the tick marks, they'll get it right. But in general, you do not want to cross dimension lines like that. That's really a rookie mistake and generally a no-no. So, so I like to leave some space because there's always going to be some sort of description that's going to go down. So I always like to leave some space on my first line of dimension here, so that I have room to draw or annotate additional text and point at things. All right, so there's one. And this is where it becomes a style issue, because here I'm going to now dimension vertically down. And so if I take these things and take it all, again, I just told you, like, hey, let's try not to cross dimension lines. So I have a problem here. And, you know, is this incorrect? Technically, no. But, you know, when you have a complicated project, it'll tend to kind of muck up the drawings, if you will. Personally, I like to just take one side and just kind of do that, so that oh, and that's the other one. You know, so the builder or the contractor can kind of visualize, okay, they must be pointing it at, you know, the middle of that window, and they could kind of tell what we're trying to say, right? So I would generally prefer to have basically one dominant dimension line and the other not go all the way through. So that's what, it's just a personal preference. And then now I'm going to do my second line of dimension, which will be all the major spaces. And I'm going to move this closer a little bit. And then my third line of dimension, which will be all the openings. So that's how I would choose to dimension. Again, you know, you could pull all of these lines back and push this line forward, whichever way, right? But that's what I would do. And just, you know, oftentimes we're running out of real estate on our sheet of paper. So in general, I like to try to keep everything much tighter. You know, but you could always move these hash lines a little bit further if you feel like there's just too many lines going across. But anyway, I'm going to leave them. I'm going to show you one more kind of tips and trick on dimension, and then I'm going to shut this demo down. And I'm going on 9:30 at the moment, so I'll be a little bit longer than 10 minutes. Annotate. When you go to dimension, you could also pick entire walls. And what I would tell you to do, if you choose to do that, which is fine, you want to make your opening centers and not width. All right. So I'm going to hit this and that, and then do all of that. So the reason why I don't do this is because sometimes you get extra lines. So I don't want to turn this into a conduct class, but you never want to dimension the width of a wall to be 5, because legally what you're saying is that, hey, Mr. Contractor, make that wall 5 inches wide. But you can't really control that because sometimes you'll have stucco, tile, wood siding. It'll vary. So you just want to locate where the wall is, and the thickness is whatever it needs to be for that particular material. So you would never dimension like that. That's a complete no-no. So I got a couple of duplicates here for whatever reason, but pretty easy to erase dimensions. You want to go to Edit Witness Line, and you want to hit the object that the line is. So on this one, I'm going to take away this one here, this line. So instead of trying to click that line, I click that wall, and that dimension line disappears. All right. So that's a really good, quick way to edit lines. And then if there's a dimension that is missing, you want to click it. But in this case, I have everything now. So I'm going to click on the outside. Oh, I missed that. So I'm going to come in here and take that out. Oh, I shouldn't escape. And then click somewhere else. Okay, so there you go. So that's another quick way to do it. But, you know, honestly, in my studio, I like to dimension each one consciously. Like I want to dimension to this wall or that wall. Anyhow, hopefully this was informative, and I'll see you guys on the next demo.